Nothing says Valentine's Day like fresh, beautiful roses, and I'm really excited to be offering these amazing roses from our favorite grower in South America, Asiri Blooms. They grow the most beautiful, robust, gorgeous roses. And if you ordered this box, you will have received your box via FedEx or UPS, and they will come basically like this. You want to get them out of the box as soon as possible. Since it is cool, if you can't get to it right away, leave them in the garage, leave them in the basement. Somewhere cool for a day or so is fine, but as soon as you can, we want these guys to hydrate. So you need to take your whole entire bundle, whether it's the reds, whether it's the pinks. There should be some food packets, set those aside. You are not going to take off any wrapper at this point. These simply need to hydrate. So you need to have a good pair of garden shears. If you don't have these, before you do this, run to a hardware store, pick them up. You can get these at Home Depot, Lowe's. Just a nice sharp pair of garden cutters, because the rose stems are quite thick and just a typical scissors is not gonna cut it, no pun intended. So what we need to do is just get these in the water. I'm gonna cut this rubber band off. I'm gonna do a sharp cut about 2 inches from the bottom, and I wanna do this very quickly. Sharp and decisive, and immediately get them in water. It's as simple as that. You're not gonna remove any leaves. You're not gonna remove any of the packaging. You're just gonna take the whole bundle, and hopefully in 3 or 4 cuts you can get in there, and the stems will fly everywhere, and very quickly get them in water. Rose stems seal as minute they're cut, so you want to get those in water within 2 or 3 seconds. Leave them in the water just like this for at least 2 hours. These are going to stay packaged. They're going to take a really long, deep drink of water. So let's just imagine these have been drinking for a couple of hours. Okay. So you'll take them out. You'll want to have, again, your nice clean bucket of water. And this time, you'll still want to have your garden cutters, but it's a good idea to have a floral knife. If you don't have this, a sharp kitchen knife works just fine. So, depending on the box you got, there might be 2 varieties of reds and a rich pink, or 2 varieties of pink. This is one of the pink varieties. At this point, you're going to take this wrapper off, and you're going to just take the whole bundle of roses, separate them, remove all the packing material, and now we need to clean them up, because this is quite a lot of work and there's quite a mass of foliage and thorns here, and these are thorny. So you're going to take it 1 rose at a time. This is where you need to have a good knife, a paring knife or something. I like to leave some of the top foliage on, because these roses don't come with any greenery, and I think they look a little bit naked, and this is nice, healthy foliage. I'm really going to try to leave as much foliage on as possible. Unless it's broken, then I can just cut any broken leaves off. But for the most part, this looks quite good. Then you need to take your finger and thumb, put it down tight on the table surface, take your knife, and you're gonna go in there and just start to pick away at these thorns, just like that. You're gonna spin it with your fingers. You can move your fingers down and just pick off every thorn, and you have a nice, smooth stem. So you can do a bunch of these, lay them off to the side, and then you'll go back. So now some of this foliage looks a little crispy. You can remove the obviously bad ones off with your fingers. Again, I'm gonna go in here and just one at a time chip away at these thorns. We just do one more. Okay, that leaf is broken, it's coming off. This is coming off. I'm gonna just trim that one off. The lower leaves I want off because I don't want them to be in the water level. And then again, I'm just gonna carefully. So do them all at once. You don't have to put them in water. They can be out of water for a few minutes because they've had a nice long drink of water. Get them nice and clean. Then what you're gonna do, once you've amassed a nice pile of them, you still have your bucket of water here, you're gonna go through and you're going to remove the guard petals. So no matter what color or variety of rose you received, if it's the red, if it's the deep pinks, if it's the softer pinks, these outer petals are called guard petals, and they guard the rest of the rose. So you can see they're a little discolored. A lot of times they're bent or broken. I'm just gonna take my fingers and remove any of the outer. Usually it's about only 3 petals, and this one's torn here. So these 3 is all I need. This will also help this rose now to open up because these have been protecting the petals inside. So again, this is a perfect example of a guard petal. It's a tougher, coarser petal. It's discolored. There's a little splotchiness to it. It's a little bit more leathery. It's been protecting these more delicate petals inside. Okay, so this one just has 2. Do it again here. Now, while I'm at it, if you look here, you see that little spot right there? This is something that we have to deal with, and that's called botrytis. If you see a little beige spot like that on any of your petals, you want to very gently get your fingers in there until you hear that and just gently remove that. This is a very common rose disease that happens. It just happens in transit. It happens in packaging. It's something, there's no eliminating. It's par for the course, but you want to take that away because it spreads to the rest of the roses. Getting these out of the packaging and into fresh air helps to eliminate that. So there I have 3 roses that are nicely cleaned. I'm going to do all of these, but in the next step, before we arrange, the thorns have been removed, the leaves have been removed, the guard petals have been removed. Then I want to take this and give this another fresh cut. Now this is going to be the real cut. So here's the deal. If you've ever received roses and in a day or two, the heads have hooked, it's a couple of things. It's probably a poor quality rose. These are very nice, great quality roses. But what happens is when you cut the stem, I'm just going to do a little example here. Once you cut that, this stem takes a big gulp of air. And that gulp of air creates an air bubble. And that air bubble, slowly over hours and a day or so, works its way up to the top of the rose. And the minute that air bubble gets up there to the neck, right below the base of the blossom, it's hooks. That's what we call hooks. The whole thing droops over. So what you want to do, and you want to take the time to do this well, because this is what you want to eliminate this, is you want to give this a fresh cut, one at a time, take the time, a 45-degree angle, because that gives you more surface area for the stem to drink and absorb water, a 45-degree angle, and within 2 or 3 seconds, immediately get it into water. It's now going to continue to drink water, open up, and look amazing. Another tip, this is an old-fashioned way of doing this. You can take like a salad bowl or a cup or something, and if you have the time, you just want to experiment, you can actually do this underwater. So you take that 45-degree angle, the whole cut is happening underwater. Now obviously, because that's underwater, there is no chance that there's an air bubble there. It's only water going into that stem, and then you move it into your bucket of clean water. So that is very important. If over a couple of days your roses seem to get a little bit droopy, or they just, it doesn't hurt to take them out, give them a fresh cut. Every time you give them a fresh cut, it's just like an irrigation system. The fresh water just floods in and goes up and helps the leaves and the blossoms and the petals open up to be the most beautiful thing. And you're gonna get a lot longer lasting arrangement. Because after this cut, even if it is underwater, a couple of days of that, it starts to callus off, and a fresh cut is just a great way to make these last as long as possible. While I'm talking about longevity, I think it's very important, and I'll talk about this when I start to make an arrangement, but you don't want to place your roses in direct sunlight. Even if it's 10 degrees outside, you put them on a sunny windowsill, that comes through the glass, that magnifies, that can be quite warm. You don't want to put it near a heater or an air conditioner vent, even air movement, fans or stuff. It just dries things out, and the flower does not last as long. Obviously, a fireplace, a stove, keep it away from that. So, if you have a cooler place in the house, great. If you want to put it on your desk or somewhere where you can enjoy it throughout the day, but then at night you put it in the kitchen where it's cooler, just all these little steps will help make your flowers last longer. And this time of year when we are desperately craving color and life, why not do everything possible to get as many days out of these roses as possible. So that's how you clean your roses. I'll come back and I'll show you how to make an arrangement.